What's up, guys? So I'm back today to talk about another film. Being the Halloween season, I've been trying to uncover some underrated horror movies that probably not a lot of people have seen. Attempting to, kind of shine light on some films that I don't feel like get talked about a lot. And today, I'm going to talk about a movie that one of my closest friends recommended to me recently. Been on my watch list for a little while, but his recommendation kind of pushed me over the top on it and got me very excited to watch this film. And the movie I'm talking about is Session 9. Session 9 is directed by Brad Anderson and tells the story of this group of guys who work for an asbestos removal company in Massachusetts. Gordon, the guy who leads the group, is trying to get a bid put in on the job, and all these other companies are trying to get in on this job at this insane asylum in Massachusetts. And he manages to win the bid, and when the guys get in, some eerie stuff starts to happen. Yeah, this is a movie that I really didn't know a whole lot about going into. It's just something I saw circulating around the internet, and it's one of those things you kind of put it on your watch list and you don't see it for a long time until you get a very good recommendation. And I watched this movie and it genuinely shook me up quite a bit. Really into slow atmospheric films that kind of build up that sense of dread, and I think Session 9 does that very well. Clearly a very low budget film that didn't have a lot of money going into it, but it has a lot of people who are very passionate about the project working on it, which adds to it. So even though it's shot very, very low quality film as far as like whatever camera they were using, but because you have this insane asylum that's abandoned that these people are cleaning up, you get that atmosphere. It just has to be shot right and has to look right. And the director of this film clearly knew what he was doing and how to frame the shots correctly and how to build that tension. Items as simple as like an empty wheelchair in a hallway that just like lingering on it for so long builds up that tension in you as an audience member. And what I really like about this movie is when you're introduced to the characters, it feels like it could be a very cliched, hokey thing that could go in a completely different direction. But in the hands of this director, they do just a great job of introducing the characters, creating sort of like a light atmosphere amidst this very like dark and disturbing place that they're working in, where there's clearly been a lot of terrible trauma that's happened amidst, doctors, patients, the things that have happened there in the past. And slowly watching these characters uncover the things that are going on in here and kind of watching all their mental states deteriorate is the best part of this movie. Mullan and David Caruso both give pretty incredible performances in this. David Caruso especially has this moment where he just starts like losing his mind in a hallway, and it really made me laugh quite a bit. But the guys do really good work with the material that they're given. Character has their own eccentricity, and I think that makes the movie more interesting to watch when you have this group of characters that are all so different that, it adds to that ambiance when you're introduced to these like seemingly goofy guys that are, have kind of a playful atmosphere, but they really need the money, and there's things going on behind the scenes that you're slowly introduced to, and that just adds to the tension of it. Aren't any jump scares in this movie. Everything is kind of either lingering in the background, or the sound design in this movie is really good. One of our lead characters stumbles into a room where he finds a tape recorder and all this stuff, where he starts learning about the things that were going on in the hospital. And that adds to that overall tension, because as the movie progresses, we're being introduced to more and more of that information. So a seemingly, empty, insane asylum at the beginning of the film, your mind kind of wanders to, well, what's happened here? What could have gone on? But getting introduced to that information and the things that have occurred there just makes it even more terrifying and tense. Third act of this movie is really bonkers. There's a lot of crazy things that happen in it. I don't want to give anything away because I think it's worth just jumping into and watching it on your own. But if you're into really atmospheric horror films that use sound design and visuals to their advantage, not just trying to spook you with a jump scare, then you'll really, really appreciate Session 9, because I think the atmosphere of this movie is one of the best I've seen. I talked about the Grave Encounters series as first videos for the Halloween season, and I think using an institution as your backdrop is a great place to create that atmosphere and sense of dread. Grave Encounters is a much more loud, in-your-face, boisterous movie that uses CGI and jump scares and things like that to create that suspense. This movie is much quieter, and it's in the atmosphere and the vibe that the movie creates that really makes it resonate with you and stick with you a lot longer after you've watched it. Have you guys seen Session 9? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think of the movie. I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it. It's a great Halloween season film, asylum movie that's not a found footage style, that's much more straightforward. But yeah, as always, it's the month of October. I'm putting out a lot of horror content. I've got more coming up in the future. You can like and subscribe to the video for me. That always helps me out. And thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day.